Hello friends, today we will discuss the second part of the basic types in TypeScript, and we will discuss about the array types in the beginning. So in the first line I have written the list of names, the variable which is of string array type, and we can use square bracket notation to define the array type. And I have initialized with three names: Steve, Robin and Anil. And just to display on the browser, you can see the white place, right? So I have assigned the list of names to the inner HTML of body. So you can see this value is displayed correctly inside the browser, but there is an error you can see in the below, or also the document.body.innerHTML is highlighted with the red borderline. That means that expect a string type, whereas our list of names is an array. So that is the reason the string array is not assignable to string error is coming up. So if we change list of names to the string representation by using the toString function, then the error will be removed, but there is no change in the output of that in the browser. Okay, now let's define the array in a different type of array signature. So here I have defined list of A's variable, and after colon I use the keyword array, and within the less than and greater than symbol I have defined the type number. Basically the string array and the array number is exactly the same, whereas the array number is a different signature. So as per your wish you can use either of them, so it's purely based upon the preference. So now let's try to put similarly list of A's to string we can print. So the number 23, 56 and 30 will be displayed on the browser. So now coming to a different concept of tuple. Here this tuple is a special kind of array. In this case, to a different concept of tuple. Here this tuple is a special kind of array. In this case, we can define different types inside an array. In the earlier example, we have seen that we can either define a string array or a number array. But inside a tuple, we can specify different types inside the array. In this case, employee info can only accept string type and the number type. So in the first example, I have assigned Jim and 23. So the first, if we define string and number, the first should be exactly Jim or the string type, and the second one to be 23, the number. We can't be use the vice versa. It needs to be matched exactly. So let's say if we define a array index of 2 of a employee info and try to assign a boolean value, so which will throw an error because it is not defined in our signature or the initialization block. But if we assign a string of Robin, it will pass. And also it is very interesting to know that if we define 56, still it will pass, right? Because in the third array element we can define either string or a number, so we can use OR. But the first two values, Jim and 23, we can't alternate it. If we try to alternate from 23 to Jim, it will throw an error. Okay, so that is interesting to note. So now we just displayed the employee info to the string representation inside inner HTML, so you can display in the screen Jim 2356. So now let us discuss about a different type. So now let us discuss about a different type, that is enumeration. So we have defined enumeration of countries. We have given India, Australia, USA. So we have defined, but here you notice there is no assignment symbol is given over here. So enum countries, and we directly given the values, right? And internally they are equal to the decimal number 0, 1 and 2. So if you can notice on the right hand side, this compiled into a different complicated structure, whereas countries is a type array, and inside that we have another country is India. So you can study more to get in more detail, but we can stick to the TypeScript notation, which makes our life easier. Okay. So the countries, if we try to access and pass the index of 0, we can get India, and if you try to pass the index of 1, we will get Australia and so on. And whereas we can use our square bracket notation as well as the dot notation, if you try to use countries dot India, we will get that equals to the index 0. Okay, so similarly, if you try to access the index of Australia, we can give dot Australia, so 1 will be written. And let's try to print that same thing. If you try to assign countries.india to the inner HTML, so in the browser we can see 0, but there is an error comes up because countries.india is not exactly a string. A stripe is enum, okay, but the value is getting displayed. So we can define any other variable, in this example my country, but notice the type over here is countries, okay, that is the variable name we have defined in the line 1, and we assign or initialize to countries.india. So the type, to be noticed, it is not a number, or it is not a string, or not a decimal. The type itself is a countries, right? So using the countries or my country, we can access any variable. So in the other line here, we define my country dot to string, so the 0 will be displayed. Okay, so if we change it to Australia, then 1 will be printed. So if we try to access the index 2, we can define country 2, then this is written a type of string, the USA. So there is no compile time error is being noticed over here, because document.body.innerHTML is equal to USA. So USA will be printed in the screen. Okay, now move to the another. Okay, now move to the another type, any type. And as any type signifies that it can, the attribute 1 can be of any type. We no need to explicitly mention number, boolean, string and so on. So in the runtime, it is capable to accept any of the type. So if you notice over here, even though we assign attribute 1 to inner HTML, so there is no error being noticed, because attribute 1 is basically any type. See, inner HTML also understand that we can get string over there. So if you type James Bond, so we can see James Bond on the browser. Okay, so also we can define any array type of any type. Okay, so array of any is we can give a different array, but we can't assign directly any array to the inner HTML, so the error pops up. But we can do the string representation by calling toString function. So the value will be displayed over here, And in any type, here you will notice that if we define an array with a string type, then only we can pass string. Or if we define an array with a number, we can only pass a number. But in this example, we can pass James Bond, which is of string type, 23, which is of a number. Okay. So now let's discuss the final part of the series, the void type. The void type will be mostly of use in the function return type, where we do not want to return any string or a number or an object. We're trying to see we are doing some operation, but this is not returning anything. So we have defined a do something method, and which is of return type void. In this we are dumping some information into the browser, and we are calling do something in the line 5. So the message is getting displayed, but this is a very good case of using the void. So this void type we can assign to a variable, but we can only pass undefined or null. Okay. If you try to assign any string type into do nothing variable, so it will throw an error. So this is very rarely used, but we can only pass undefined or null if you declare a type void. Before we wrap our discussion, let me show you something about type checking. In this case, we have defined a variable of discount of any type 23, and we are doing some calculation to getting the price, which is of type number. Here we are multiplying 500 multiplied by discount. So discount is of any type, but we can explicitly mention over here that as a number. So that means in runtime we will get this as a number. So the compiler won't throw the error. So this is a safe way to define that we are expecting a number here. Okay. And if you try to assign some other way of representing thing using a less than a greater than symbol before discount, we can specify the number. So that is also means exactly the same as previous one, as like as notation. It is up to your preference which one you want to use. So thanks very much for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my video or please like the videos. Thanks very much.